Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. So, today is a start of a brand new series of Sixth Lord through houses, as in what happens when the planet that controls your sixth house in your horoscope is sitting in the first house, as in the ascendant or rising sign. And obviously, if you do not know where your sixth Lord is placed and where your other lords through houses are placed, for that, check out the links here where you can find your full astrological report, especially the option 8, where I actually tell you, or the option 6, through audio, where everything is placed in your horoscope, including my books, Astrology Conjunction, and Aspects at the Speed of Light. So, sixth house. What is sixth house? Sixth house represents everyday work that you do. It represents routine work. Sixth house represents small animals. It represents competition. It represents going to war because your enemies are in the sixth house, meaning your competitors, your competition in the real world sense. So it shows somebody who's sixth house represents where you have to come a step up to the plate and perform, fight, win the battle. Sixth house is also the house of diseases, illnesses, or curing illnesses and diseases. It's a house of small animals, like small pets, cats, dogs, your little pets that you have around the house. It could even include birds as well. And sixth house is the house of debts as well, because it's a house of loans. It's a loans that you take from bank or from an institution. Okay, so all of these things are represented by the sixth house. Now, when this planet goes into the ascendant, shows ascendant is what? Meaning your first house, your personality, your physical being, how you are as a person, how you see a person, like how you see me. What I am is a mixture of my ascendant, my moon sign, and my sun sign. All three of them is what you see and feel and know here, who Kapiel Raaj is. So, when sixth lord is sitting in the ascendant, shows that it's influencing your personality, shows that you are one of those peoples who are very routine, who are very repetitive and routine in their life, meaning that you get up, you do things, you go somewhere, and that's like your routine. Like every morning I get up, me and Yash, go in my car to get coffee. Literally, it has not been a single day where I had to go by myself. Actually, one day I had to go when I had to get his food. But most of the time, 99% of the time, it's me and Yash waking up, going for a walk, going in my car to get coffee, coming back. And he knows it's a routine. And that's how a person becomes. Their life and personality is all about creating routines in their life. Their life is all about going in competition. It's all about dealing with conflicts, because sixth house is also conflicts. So show somebody every day through their routine is dealing with conflicts. So like somebody who can be, let's say, like a lawyer, somebody who can be, a doctor, who's dealing with conflicts and how to solve people's diseases. And since sixth house is diseases, goes into the ascendant, shows that your personality is all about how to, find solution to curing disease. And sixth house isn't it really the house of diseases? It's a house of health, how your health is. So these people specifically become health conscious. These are the people you might find, being in gym all day long. These are the people who are always trying to eat the right thing. These are the people who are always is afraid of, like, oh, something's going to go wrong with my body. Let me do something. Let me keep eating right, drinking right. So it becomes a routine to be in this habit of, constantly eating right and, performing well. And at the same time, these are the people whose personality is all about, creating and serving other people. Not creating, pretty much serving other people. They are all about, how do I serve the world today? How do I serve small communities today? And their personality is actually molded by competition. It's molded by the people at their work. It's molded by dealing with, unprivileged people, or even small animals. Like dogs especially, can, influence their personality, because dogs are the most common pets that people have and be influenced by. People have cats, but they're not as influenced by cats, but by dogs, because they interact with you through their personality. So these are the things that happens when the sixth lord is in the ascendant. But when a certain planet is ruling this, it may differ the results. So let's look upon that. So let's say if Sun controls your sixth house and Sun goes into the ascendant, what this shows is that Sun represents what? Personality, ego, government, father. Okay. And what this shows is that your father instilled a routine lifestyle within you. And yet at the same time, you may have had certain differences and conflicts with your father. And as much as your father was perhaps a very artistic person, imaginative person, yet there was this, sense of competition with him. Like, okay, I have to do better than my father. I have to excel. And obviously, every son is like that. But with these people, it kind of becomes like a serious thing. Like, no, I have to beat my father's legacy. That becomes a competition. And at the same time, these people can take the responsibility and leadership role in their everyday work life. That's what they love doing. Especially these people do very well in government service, because sixth house is a house of service where you provide service. You're not out there trying to gain money by your own effort. You're providing service under somebody else's guidance. So this is a really good position of somebody who becomes a leader in the government. Okay. Let's say if Moon controls your sixth house, Moon goes into the ascendant, shows as somebody who uses their mind to solve people's problem. They have the scientific mind to cure people's diseases, to cure people's illnesses. So these people are very scientific and medically oriented. And their mind is always about, how to solve conflicts in people's lives and how to heal people, because Aquarius is a very scientific sign, And with influencing the moon in the ascendant shows that your head, your intelligence, your emotions are all about, extrapolating things, how everything is taking place, what's the reason behind. These people reason everything, and they try to solve people's conflicts through, especially majority of the time I've seen people are in healthcare field or in a scientific field with this position. Okay. And it also shows that with your mother also, there could be these conflicts where she may not have nourished you well enough for you to gravitate towards her. You felt like there was more conflicts with the mother than the more nourishment, because of the fact, as Aquarius is a very karmically heavy sign, especially for Sun and Moon, because these are the enemies of Rahu and Saturn, or they just don't get along. Or even though Moon is not enemies with anybody, it's just Saturn wants to give the most hardship here for the Moon. Let's say if Mercury controls your sixth house, goes into the ascendant, shows as somebody who's very intelligent in solving problems, solving conflicts, dealing with debts and numbers. They make great accountants here, great people who can go out there and solve other people's financial problems, because Mercury is a natural manager, money manager, and sixth house is a house of debts. So through their intelligence and logical mind, Mercury is here able to solve other people's problems. So they make great financial analyst and financial advisor. But one thing to realize, with Mercury and Moon, these are very, they're intelligence and emotions. And because they're ruling the sixth house, especially if, let's say, their Mul Trikon sign is ruling the sixth house and they're sitting in the ascendant, this can also show somebody who may have had nervous problem, somebody who may have had like panic attacks or, problem with their nervous system. And at the same time, they will use their intelligence. Like, remember, there's this saying that doctors are usually suffering with the same diseases that they are trying to solve. Like if somebody's a heart doctor, they may have a lifestyle where their heart is suffering. If somebody's a skin doctor, their skin might be suffering so much because of the fact they're taking other people's karma so much that, okay, I'll help you, I'll solve your skin problem, and they keep taking it and they get the same thing. Okay, or they go through the same thing and they realize, my God, I need to become a doctor so I can save other people with what I've suffered. So this is another thing that happens, because sixth house is also not, it's his health, healing, at the same time diseases. So they're coming to you, to your ascendant, to your body. So each planet will show something else. Let's say if Venus controls your sixth house, And Venus goes into the ascendant, shows that somebody who has this tremendous love for people and animals, who want to go out and help people who are unprivileged. They want to create relationships with people who are, not able to come up in society. At the same time, here Venus can give somebody, relationship issues, as in like they run into conflicts early on in life with their, life partner, or they run into a lot of women for a man who creates conflict for them. Like the women comes up to this person or the native who creates issues for them after a while, because it's the sixth house, things are coming to you. You're not going to them. First Lord is not in the sixth house. You're not going out there to beat somebody and be in a competition. The competition is coming to you. The conflict is coming to you. So that's the difference between first Lord in the sixth house and sixth Lord in the first house. Here, the person unintentionally gets into conflicts with women, or a person unintentionally gets problem in relationships. However, obviously you can't judge this without looking at the Namansha chart and looking at the position of Venus and its conjunction and aspects, because all that matters when you're giving the final judgment on something. And if, let's say, Mars controls your sixth house, Mars goes into the ascendant, shows that a lot of competition comes to you through sports. A lot of competition comes through you in a fighting arena. So you can be a sports athlete, fighter. At the same time, you're a person who gets into debts frequently, yet at the same time gets out of debt at the same time. Because Mars is a significator of debt, besides land. And it shows that somebody who may deal with real estate and land that are in conflict. But mainly here, the aggression of other men, aggression of other people are coming to you. So if a woman has this, it shows that she may run into a lot of men who may physically abuse her. And obviously there's certain instances, but I have seen that, okay? And it shows that, you have this natural tendency to walk into competition and fights. Like, no matter if you're just sitting at the bar doing nothing, just you putting your shoulder back, somebody will be pissed at you and get in fights with you. However, your personality though here is really becoming somebody who's ready to take on challenges, who's ready to take on the competition of the world, and whatever the enemies are out there, you're said, I'm ready to take them on. No, you cannot defeat me. So these are the people who are really good in competition, in political competitions. Let's say if Jupiter controls the sixth house and Jupiter goes into the ascendant, shows that somebody who finds their knowledge and intelligence in conflicts, like a natural lawyer. Again, Jupiter is a natural lawyer. So somebody who goes into conflicts or attains the knowledge of how to deal with conflicts, how to deal with people, diseases, and how to deal with animals. So because Jupiter is real intelligence and knowledge, and here in the ascendant makes a person extremely intelligent, and they just know anytime they get into conflicts, they're very calm about it. They're like, I know what to do. I know exactly the steps I need to take to solve those conflicts. I'm not going to panic. Okay. And what it shows is that somebody who may love sweets a lot, somebody who may eat a lot and gain a lot of weight, because Jupiter obviously represents fat, but at the same time it shows that you may run into situations where you run into conflicts with your teachers and gurus. Like, even if you don't want to, your teachers ends up going into conflicts with you. Your teacher ends up not liking you in a way, but at the same time you're able to overcome that. You're able to turn the situation around through your intelligence and solve every conflict, even with your own teacher. But here one person has to definitely take care of their weight, because of the fact it's sixth house things that are coming to them. So they will love eating a lot of fats and sweets, and getting upon a lot of weight, especially like diabetes, they have to watch out for. But definitely Jupiter here instills a lot of intelligence to deal with conflicts, and at the same time it gives them love for animals. Jupiter here really loves animals, Venus and Jupiter, and at the same time they would find their everyday routine and reading books, classical music and arts at the same time. Like they want to have that routine. And so, because it's sixth house is everyday work life. So even with Venus, I should have mentioned, is that their everyday life might require creativity, like being an actor, being an artist, being a singer. That can also happen because sixth house is the Artha house. It's a house of your work, what you do. Like second, sixth, and 10th house are known as the Artha triangle. It's the house that I always pay attention to, even when I'm looking at career, especially the second house. But sixth house here, definitely shows that your personality is all about, with Jupiter, how do I attain knowledge to solve problems, whether it's financial problems, legal problems, psychological problems. You want to be able to solve them. Let's say if Saturn controls the sixth house, goes into the ascendant, shows that you feel responsible for people at your work. You definitely love routine jobs. You work with machines, and you probably are a very repetitive type of person. At the same time, shows that you may have dealt with chronic illnesses since your birth. Doesn't matter if it's light or something heavy, but it shows that Saturn is bringing a long-lasting chronic illness. Now, if in Nimansha chart or Trimshansha chart, Saturn actually is well placed, shows that over time Saturn improves itself and takes away its chronic illnesses. Like how many instances I have seen myself where people could not walk, let's talk about basketball. Sean Kemp, if you remember, Seattle Supersonic superstar. The guy could not walk because he had some sort of an illness since birth. But as he grew older, by the time he was 10, 11, he was the fastest runner. And, Saturn here makes you feel heavy responsibility and burden towards, managing small animals, meaning that you feel you're responsible for handling animals. So, and you're responsible for dealing with a lot of debt. Like here, no matter even if you don't want to, Saturn will puts a person, in debt, and they feel responsible for it, and they feel stress and burdened by it, because that's what Saturn does here. But mainly, Saturn here makes a person a natural service person. Like these people just love providing service to older and mature people, or handicapped people, and that's where they find their natural, talent at. So guys, this was my analysis of sixth lord in the first house. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And again, remember, if you want to get to know your sixth lord through houses or every other lord, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.